morning. Breakfast is served. I will be on hand the whole time. Should you find that anything is not to your taste, please do not hesitate to let me know.
This is my guide to Noelle, the chivalric blossom. If you need a tank, shielding, healing, supporting, DPS, claymore wielding, geocasting, soon-to-be knight, all-around maiden, waifu for laifu, this guide is for you.
My name is Noelle, maid of the Knights of Favonius, and it's my pleasure to be joining you on your adventure today. Should you encounter any problems at all at any point throughout your journey, please do not hesitate to call me, and I will be delighted to provide you with my full assistance. Yes, starting right now. What do you need?
Noelle is a 4-star Geo Claymore user that you can get in the Beginner's Wish, and serves as a buff nanny for your team, providing great support while dealing good amounts of damage to the enemy. She is an all-around character that can ensure that your team is very healthy at all times. She's basically a direct comparison to Garen from League of Legends, and I will explain why. Her combat talent is called Favonius Bladework Maid. Performs 4 consecutive strikes, her charge attack is a continuous spinning attack, and plunge attack deals huge AoE damage, and here is some claymore math. So Noelle wields a huge sword, like Garen. Her charge attack turns her into a Beyblade, like Garen. And her plunge attack is a jump attack that deals a lot of damage, just like Garen. Claymore attacks are the slowest attacks in the game, but they make it up for good amounts of damage to the enemies. They can destroy ores faster, and they can shatter frozen enemies. This makes Noelle a badass of a maiden because she is a maid that wields a huge sword. Noelle's elemental skill is called Breastplate. Deals geo damage upon activation that scales with defense, crystallizes nearby elements, absorbs damage that scales with Noelle's defense, makes you immune to interruption and staggering. During the duration, Noelle has a 50% chance to heal the entire party when healing enemies. Healing scales with math. And here is some skill math. Man, I love this shield. This brings out the tank utility support healer side of Noelle. The shield is very basic, but it is good, and it deals a huge amount of damage upon activation when you scale her with defense. Even the healing, it's good when you scale her with defense. And you can activate this skill near barrel bombs and you won't take damage at all. But overall, I really love this skill. Because once you activate the shield, you can swap out with other characters and they will be protected. So yeah, man, I really love this shield. Her elemental burst is called Sweeping Time. It costs 60 energy. Turns her claymore into an extra long boy, converts her physical damage to geo damage, and adds additional damage that scales with defense. And here is some bursty burst math. With this burst, you turn Noelle into a DPS character. She puts the D in the PS. You will be constantly crystallizing elements, especially slimes, making elemental shields for the team, doing a lot of damage upon hitting enemies, especially if they're grouped up. Oh man, this burst is so painful. Especially when you have the shield on, you're gonna be constantly healing your party, and you're gonna be dealing a lot of damage to groups of enemies, and this is just so good, and I love it. Man, if you're a Hilichurl and you see a maiden, her sword turning gold and extending, oh, you better run, because you're gonna be dead. You're gonna be a common item, Noelle's first passive talent is called Devotion. When a character on the field falls below 30% HP, a shield automatically activates. Damage absorption scales 400% of Noelle's defense, lasts for 20 seconds, and triggers every 60 seconds. This passive is a lifesaver, especially if you have a squishy DPS, and it will save you a lot of food. Her passive talent number 2 is called Nice and Clean. Every 4 hits of normal or charge attack decreases elemental skill cooldown by 1 second. Hitting multiple enemies with a single attack is only counted as 1 hit. This passive changes everything because your elemental skill cooldown is very long, and you're going to be constantly hitting a lot of enemies just to get that cooldown very quick. Noelle's passive talent number 3 is called Maid's Knighthood. She has a 12% chance of obtaining twice the product of defense dishes when perfectly cooked. So yeah, this talent exists if you need more defense dish, you cook with Noelle. You get the idea. When leveling up her talents, I always max the elemental skill first, because her shield is very useful in every situation that passes by. Second is her elemental burst, and lastly, I level up her combat talent very last. As for weapons, go for White Line, no questions asked, just White Line for Noelle. White Line is a craftable weapon that you can craft in the blacksmith, and it scales with Noelle's defense. Every hit increases a small percentage of attack and defense and stacks up to 4 times for 6 seconds. This is perhaps the best weapon that is suited for Noelle, because it scales with defense. If you have other 5-star claymores, you're better off giving it to other claymore users. If you have the Unforged, you could perhaps give it to Noelle, and you can turn her into a DPS with 4-piece retracing bolide, and this is actually going to be cracked for Noelle. But for me personally, I would still prefer White Line because you can refine it many times and you can buy the prototypes on the stores. As for artifacts, the main stats that you're going to be looking for is defense percentage. You could slap in some crit rate or crit damage if you need more damage. You can slap in some healing bonus if you'd like, and you can slap in geo damage bonus, but I highly prefer defense percentage because every skill that she has scales with defense except for her combat skills. As for substats, you'll still be looking for defense percentage, flat defense. You can still put in crit rate and crit damage, plus attack depends on the artifacts that you're going to be getting on the main stats. So yeah. As for set pieces, you're going to be guaranteed to get Noelle in the beginning of the game, so 2-piece Lucky Dog and 2-piece Traveling Doctor. Lucky Dog will give her additional defense and Traveling Doctor will give her additional healing bonus. This is for the beginning of the game because you're going to be scouring for a lot of artifacts. As for mid-game, it depends on the domains that you have unlocked or depends on the artifact sets that you're getting, but she's actually really flexible with any artifact sets that you can give her. You can give her Gambler set, you can give her Martial Artist, or you can go for Defender's Will. But if you can get your hands on Gladiator set with defense percentage as a main stat, you can give that to Noelle, because it will give her additional damage. As for late game to end game, I would recommend Retracing Bolide on Noelle because Retracing Bolide will strengthen Noelle's shield. You can mix and match this with any other sets. You can match it with Archaic Petra if you need more geo damage. You can match this with Maiden's Beloved if you need more healing. Or you can go full Madman and go for full Retracing Bolide for additional damage when you activate Noelle's shield. But how do I play Noelle? Noelle is really, really good. Oh man, I just really love Noelle. You could actually tell I have level 10 friendship with Noelle and I have the name card. I've been playing so much Noelle. When I got her on the beginner's wish, I said to myself, I am going to dump all of my resources on Noelle and I'm gonna main her. I've never regret putting all my resources on Noelle. I have never consumed a lot of revival food because of Noelle, and she's been a staple on my party ever since. When I'm playing single player mode, the weapon I equip with Noelle is White Line. Obviously, that's the only weapon that I have for Noelle. I don't have any other 5-star weapons, so yeah, I roll with it and it's fine. As for artifacts, I may go 4 full piece of Retracing Bolide. And as for the main stats that I'm looking for, 2 defense percentage on the artifact, and the last one's gonna be critical rate, because I want her to deal a lot of damage while constantly healing my allies and having sturdy shields for my allies. As for co-op, I may go for 2-piece Retracing Bolide and Maiden's Beloved because I want to heal my allies. I know there's gonna be characters that will deal higher damage than my Noelle, but my job as a Noelle in co-op is to keep my team healthy at all times. Looking at you, Diluc and Kaching, very squishy DPS there. But yeah, I would actually be the tankiest of all the team, probably. Who knows? But yeah, I'll be healing a lot while dealing moderate amounts of damage. And yeah, that's my job as Noelle. Support, utility, and sub DPS probably. She's actually a Beyblade, if in my own opinion. And yeah, that's actually how I play Noelle. Other notes on Noelle, her pancakes are to die for. Like literally, your character needs to die first before tasting her pancake. And that's my guide for Noelle, the Beyblade. If you have some tips, you can go comment them down below in the comments. And yeah, that's gonna be my guide for Noelle, I think. Hopefully, it helps. And I'll see you in the next guide, I think. Yeah, cheers!